and welcome to our live crafting session this evening. It is Thursday the 16th of October 2025. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that here is in the UK. Our stamp set of the week this week is called Festive Friends. It's this one here, and we had great fun with it on Tuesday. Everybody was really pleased with their cards. It has three main characters. We have a snowman, a Father Christmas, and a cheeky little elf. And this these two were the cards. Oh, this one was the one that I made live in full on Monday morning, and it features the tag shape that goes with the dies that matches this particular set. And I stamped the little snowflake that's from the stamp set on the background, also on the little tag, stamped the snowman and coloured the snowman in. I also stamped the trees because I wanted to see the little elf with the trees. So this was the resulting card, which I finished after the live. So I've got the tree stamped on the background. I stamped some three also on the little tag shape, and then I stamped and fussy cut the little elf to place on the top. The other one that I did, it might have been Monday or Tuesday morning, I really can't remember, was I used the sentiment Santa's coming to town to stamp all over the background here. I used We Wish You a Merry Christmas from the stamp set on the top, and obviously you could add bling to this. You could also add Winker Stella for some glitter. I'm going to step up the card by using some of the dies. So the dies that come with the set, not only do they cut out these elements here, they also cut out some individual snowflakes. There are some cut snowflakes that go into the card, and there's also a tree. So I've chosen these colours. So I've gone for pink and grey. So this is, I've got Bubble Bath, Pretty in Pink, and Smoky Slate. So I've got a white card, and then I haven't quite decided which of these two layers I use, or whether I'll actually use both. And my inspiration for this came from the kit that we used last week. And that's this one. This is called Calm and Bright. It went out of stock, it's come back in again. So it's currently available. Probably one of my favourite Christmas sets in terms of kits. But I love the colour combination of the lighter and the slightly darker pink. Also got Lost Lagoon in here as well, and the deer, of course. So I've taken my inspiration from that to use pink and grey. I wasn't going to add in Lost Lagoon, but I could still do that if I feel it needs something else. So let me put those two on the side slightly. So I pre-cut some trees. I might sort of double layer this. And I've cut them. I really do like this, quite a modern design. It does have a little panel here that you can pop out and exchange, so I could put the grey ones in the pink and the pink ones in the grey. I decided that life was slightly too short to do that, especially as I was running out of time between getting home and starting the live. I also cut some snowflakes out at the same time. So in my mind, I'm going to stamp one of the characters, probably the snowman, and she's going to be a snow girl, because I'm going to carry on with the theme of pink and grey. I could do that or the elf really, probably not the Father Christmas, but you know. I'm going to stamp that and I'm going to use the dies to cut her out. And I'm just wondering what I have done with the said dies because they were here a few minutes ago. Let me see. Oh no, they are here. Thank goodness for that. I've also got something else to introduce to you, if I can just pick this up. So you may know in the past that we've had these die cut panels with pre-printed sentiments, and there is a set with Christmas sentiments on. Hi Caroline, good evening to you. So in each of these packs there are 6 sheets and you've got sorted sentiments. So we've got Happy Christmas, Merry and Bright, Season's Greetings, 'Tis the Season, in different shapes, and we've got Joy, we've got some longer Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, Season's Greetings, and I thought these would actually work really well just with these anyway. Instead of stamping onto a small element here, you could use any of these. So we've got From Our House to Yours, Merry and Bright, Season's Greetings, From Our House to Yours in different styles. So I thought I would introduce these. Now these are not self-adhesive, but they, or are they? She says. They are self-adhesive. Well, I never. Because they're on like a card base, I assumed they weren't. So you could put them on with dimensionals, but I would not take the backing off. Or would I? No, perhaps I would, because you don't want it to peel off later on, do you? So these are self-adhesive. Should have read the instructions, shouldn't I? So I might introduce those, although with the grey and the pink, silver tends to be the sort of go-to combination. So we'll see. But in the dies, as well as the ones I've cut out, the snowflake and the tree, you also have these other dies, little stars. We've got the little tab that I talked about earlier in the week, and this other tree here, and obviously the tag. So I'm going to go for, I think, the snow girl, which is going to be, so there's the snowflake and the tree, and I'm going to put these away before I lose them. So I hope everybody's had a good day. I can't believe it's Friday tomorrow. Week has gone so quickly. So I'm not quite sure. So this is a bubble bath, but in fact I might switch that out to be Pretty in Pink, which is what I've used here. So I might have that layer and then that layer. But actually what I wanted was a slight contrast. So here and here, like that. And then both of the trees will stand out. That's what I had in mind. So let's stamp our little character and colour her in. I have a block, I have an ink pad. Just need a piece of card. And I was also inspired by Jenny, who came on Tuesday, because she did some pinks and pale colours. It was really effective. So let's grab our little snow girl. I also thought this would look nice on a long slimline card. You could have all of the characters going along. And I've I think if you look at the samples that were on my Facebook page, you'll have seen one that Scott did, which was the three different characters. Grey and pink do look nice together, Caroline, and I wonder if your box has arrived. I know it went to the co-op at the top, so I hope you're able to collect it. Okay, let's just stamp this here. Just going to stamp another one while I'm there, and I could actually do this in a grey, but I'm happy with it just in espresso to start with. Okay, I'm going to colour this in first because it's a lot easier to colour in while it's one large piece, and then I will die cut it out. So I've got an assortment of pink and grey. I've got light pretty in pink. I've got light petal pink, and then I have light smoky slate. So let's so I could alternate those on my little hat. I could leave that one white, I don't know, I'm not sure, I think I might. So just going to do this really quickly, like so. I think these characters are so cute. And then I've got light smoky slate, and you could do some blending of this with some darker colours of the edges. Like so. That one's going to be pink, that one will be grey, and I could have a pink bauble here. Okay, now I could leave that white. I think what I'm going to do is make that grey, but make the scarf pink. So just very quick colouring in. I guess the carrot has to be still has to be orange though. Ah, well done. So I hope you've opened your goodie box. Let's do the other side because there's not much ink in that one. So Caroline is one of our newest team members, and there is a great offer on at the minute. So when I've finished here, I've got to make up all of the new team member starter packs. So if it's something that's of interest to you, just let me know. Okay, let's find an orange for the nose. I've got light peach pie, that will do. Sort of carrot coloured, isn't it? Okay, so I've got our little die here that's going to go round our snow girl, and I've got my small die cutting machine here. So let's just bring that up. And I do, as I say, I love these modern looking trees. Just going to cut this up to fit it in my smaller machine. And funny enough, look what I've got on the side of my desk. Pink and, well, it's pink and grey and espresso. This is from a kit that we still have available. Little treat boxes. So pretty. Right, I digress. Let's load this up. Pop that on there. And I may need a little bit of tape, which I can't see, so I'm just going to risk it. That I don't move it too much on the way. Okay, now you don't have to die cut this. You could use the character and then just use the die cut trees if you wanted to. There she is, like so. Away. Put the die back so I don't lose it. Go. Ah, you're going to start the kit. Is that the calm and bright one? Yes, I think it is, isn't it? So enjoy putting that all together. Okay, so am I going to use that? I could just use white. That might be better. Let me find a sheet of white. Oh, I've got some here. Oh, now that was a stroke of luck. Happens to fit perfectly. Like so. I could add a layer of that same pink as well if I'm going all out. So I quite like that. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So let me trim this down. So my base card is 10.5 centimeters by 14.85. Then I've got my grey, which is 10 by 14.35. Then I'm going to have this pretty in pink, which is going to be 9.5 by 13.85, so basically 1 centimetre different. And then this one is going to be 9 by 13.35, so basically another half centimetre smaller. So each layer is about 2.5 millimeters border on each of the 4 edges, if that makes any sense. So let's put those two together. It's going to be our base, and then we'll layer up our fun snow girl. So there's that one. I could also have cut out some snowflakes actually from this piece anyway. Let's do that. So next Saturday I have our Buckingham class, so I'll be posting photographs of the cards that we're making. They're all going to be autumn themed. I've got some beautiful autumn papers with gold in them. So if you want to join us for that class, it's 10 in the morning till midday. That's going to go like that. At the Buckingham Community Centre, and we actually meet in the council chamber. So I'm thinking slightly offset, one way or the other, and then I'm going to have some layered trees. So am I going to have her to the right or to the left? So I'm thinking one, could have this one slightly behind and this one in front. like so. So there's 3 there. Then we've got our little snow girl, and then maybe 2 on this side, like so. And I've got some snowflakes that I could add in. Because I've made this a little bit smaller, it looks a little bit busy, so I might, I can ignore the snowflakes. I do quite like them, or I could have them just going off the top, or I could do it without actually. Quite like that. So 3 and 2. I have got another one of these. I don't really want 3 and 3. I don't really want 4 and 2. So I'm going to go with that. 3 and 2, like so. I might stamp that little snowflake in grey, because that one's a little bit too big, or pink. So I've got this one here. So, and what I'm going to do is stamp it first, so that if I'm not happy with it, I can turn my sheet over. So I'm thinking Smoky Slate. Which I'm hunting for but can't see. Okay. It's probably right in front of me. There it is. I was thinking I could use cloud cover, but I'm going for Smoky Slate. So I'm just going to put a few very light snowflakes in the sky, like that. Hopefully you can see them. I've just kept it really, really light. Oh, you might just be able to see them. Do I want any more? No, I think I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm going to put my little girl up on dimensionals. You could, if you wanted to, having cut this one out, you could decoupage her hat, for example, and the scarf if you wanted to. And what I'm going to do is lay these down. 1, 2 and 3, but I'm going to put the pink one on the top. So let's lay this down. Now I did find my fine tip glue the other day, and so that's what I'm going to use. So this has a metal tip, and it's perfect for small amounts of glue. Let me move my ink pad out of the way and just lay it on here. So if you're a bit heavy-handed with the Tombow, the white glue, then you might want to arm yourself with some fine tip glue. So what I'm going to do is put this one on the left. Now you don't need much of this glue, and this glue does actually dry shiny and clear, so you can actually use it for like little raindrops. You can also make something shiny Okay, so there's that one. And I'm just looking for spacing really here. Yeah, so I want those to be fairly close so that the other tree overlaps in the front. The glue here is not a PVA glue. It does take a little bit longer for it to stick, which is why I was holding it down a little bit longer than perhaps I normally would if it was white glue. Okay, so you can see there it doesn't grab it as quickly, but it is permanent once it's attached. And you wouldn't want to use this glue with youngsters really, because it has a very sharp, this tip is quite sharp. You don't want them poking anybody's eye out or anything else like that. Alright, this one is going to go on the top, and I'm just going to use some dimensionals on that. And this glue does have a piercing pin to stop it from drying out. And the way that you put this, the way that I put this back in, is to rest my finger behind the tip. Hopefully you can see that. And then that helps me guide this tip back in, she says. Don't squeeze it too hard, Jenny. There we go. You'll feel the resistance, and then you can screw this down. If it gets clogged up, you can unscrew the whole mechanism here and then just poke it with a pin or a needle to go through. Right, so I'm going to add some dimensionals onto here, which I have at the ready, and I'm just going to use some very tiny strips for that. So I'm looking forward to making some more of these cards tomorrow in Brackley. So just cutting this very edge of the dimensionals. Oops. Just cutting some small pieces to support the back. Oh, it's a little bit too long. This is that one. Oh, it will fit up here though. Just. You could put this on flat if you wanted to, but I wanted a little bit more of a 3D look. So, put that on there. You don't have to cover all of the back, just as long as it's fairly well supported. Let's cut this one down a bit. So a warm welcome to anyone who has joined us since the beginning, or if you're watching on catch up or replay, then welcome to you too. So just going to take the backs off these. Just gently, because I don't want to break the tree. As I say, you can swap out the centres, but I decided life was a little too short for that of an evening. Okay. So this one is going to go in the middle on my dimensionals, like so. Hopefully you can see that alright, if I've got it in the right position. And then we've got our little girl here. She's going to go on with dimensionals, and then I'm going to have two on this side, so it's sort of balanced out a little bit. and I'm going to do it in that order, I think. So my space is okay for that, so I'm going to put, I think I might put these down flat. So again, my fine tip glue, you can also use this for adding loose glitter and things like that if you have it. Right, so this one is going to go just a little way in from the right hand side. Let me bring it up a little bit because my camera does seem a little bit too, seems a little too far away today. Okay, that one's going to go on there. And this fine tip glue lasts a very long time because you're only using a small bit, oops a daisy, and there's 30 milliliters in each pack. And I think I've had that one probably for 2 years and it's still going strong. Okay, so these two I've just put flat on the right hand side. I could have put one on dimensionals. There we go. And then my little girl is going on dimensionals. Just give her plenty of support. And then I just need to decide what I'm doing with a sentiment. So there she is, hopefully just right in the middle, like so. I'm hoping you can see that. Let me know. I'm not sure it needs the snowflake. Okay, I'm going to layer it up, but I'm just going to have a look at some of these, and I'm thinking something like this Season's Greetings would fit nicely across there. You've got the double height one as well, or Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas. And then you get all of these as well. So there's the Season's Greetings, 'Tis the Season, different Merry Christmas. So you get 6 sheets of these. So this is really good if you want to make lots of quick Christmas cards and you don't want to be stamping all of the sentiments, then this would be a good way. So it's like the other ones that we have that have assorted sentiments. Right, just putting that lid back on, and you want to seal it nice and tightly and keep it upright in the meantime. So let's put this layer on here. Like so, and then I'll decide, unless anybody has a suggestion. So I've got this double layer here, just to coordinate really with those colours. You've got to love pink and grey, blue and grey. So alternative Christmas colours. Oh, Caroline says it's good to know about the glue. Yeah, it's really, really useful, and as I say, it lasts a long time. I tend to put it aside and then forget about it, but it's perfect for tiny little die cuts. Okay, let's just pop one of these out and see. So this is Merry Christmas. It's a shame that we don't have the option of these in silver or gold, or both. Half in silver, half in gold. Maybe I'll suggest that for next year. So that's Merry Christmas. That would actually work, wouldn't it? Let's just see. Season's greetings. This Merry Christmas is the same. I want long and thin. Happy Christmas. Season's greetings is about the same size. I think I'm going to stick with that Merry Christmas. But they'd be perfect on the little tags. I forgot to bring them on Tuesday. So this, as I discover, is indeed self-adhesive. So I can see there's a little break here. Let me just, there we go, lift the backing up. Normally I would use a pokey tool or something. There we are. Now if you want to put this on dimensionals but you didn't want it so sticky, what you could do is either put a small piece of tissue paper or small piece of card, or you could use our embossing buddy, or like talcum powder basically, to stop the back being sticky, and then add dimensionals. But I'm happy for this to sit flat. Just having a look at the best place for it, probably central, like so. There we are. Merry Christmas. And then I could add some Winkum Stella to add some sparkle to her scarf and or to her hat. And I did have out some silver rhinestones, but they're not going to go with the gold. So let me just see if I've got any gold ones just to hand. If not, I will leave it until I find some, or pink would also do if I've got pink ones. Let me have a quick look. I've got bright pink. I have some gold. Guess whether I've got enough small ones. No, I've only got 2 small ones. Okay, bear with me 1 minute. Let me give my other tub, and basically we are then done. So that's the wrong pink, that's petal pink. Red, it's a bright pink, and it's a little bit large. That might do the job, those ones. The little gold ones of those would work. Butterflies, red, and that's more of those. Oh, 3 gold, but they're a little bit too big. Oh, and more of the pink ones, so pink it is then. I think I'm just going to put them in the, I've got 3 snowflakes that you can see, so I'm just going to pop them in the centre of the flowers, and then we're done. So I hope you like the stepped up version. So there's one in that one in there, so it's a little bit close to the tree, and then one in that one there. There we go. there's our Merry Christmas Snow Girl. I hope you like it. A little bit of fun. So just using the dies to cut the Snow Girl out and the trees and stamp the snowflakes, and then we obviously have these separate snowflakes as well, but because there's a lot going on I felt they were too big. I guess you could also, although they're probably a little bit big, but you could put them on the tops of the trees. But there we go, our finished card. I hope you like it. I've been updating my YouTube videos this week, and so over the weekends and tomorrow I will be updating all of the ones from the last 3 weeks that I haven't as yet uploaded. So watch out for those on YouTube. Hope you like the card. A little bit of fun. I hope you're able to do some crafting. Caroline, have fun tonight. Can't wait to see how you get on. You're welcome to visit my Facebook Live to see how they were all made, but I really do like them, I have to say. So have fun with those, and I look forward to crafting with everybody really soon. Do take care. Bye for now.